to Live, Love, Life, and Travel. This is your girl Shamika, and if you're new here, welcome. Just to let you know, I do usually try to upload on a daily, and I upload my travel videos every Monday through Thursday and my free talk videos throughout the weekend. So if you're interested, please hit that subscribe button. Today I thought I would share with you a couple of stories about people or men who've gotten scammed in Thailand. So if you know, a lot of guys come down here to party like rock stars and to feel like kings and have all the ladies adore them and fawn all over them, and especially Caucasian men from America or Western countries. So men come down here to find lust, but sometimes they come down here to find love too. But you have to be really careful to make sure that the person you're falling in love with is actually falling in love with you. So I'm going to tell you two stories about men who've gotten jaded and scammed by women down here in Thailand. So hopefully you can learn your lesson before you fall into the same trap. Alright, so one guy, and these are stories that I heard directly from people, so this is not like I saw it online or anything, but one guy, he met a girl here in Thailand, and they spent almost a year together and was inseparable, and he dated her and fell in love with her, and in his mind she reciprocated the feelings. And so in Thailand it's kind of, you know, like I said it before, it's a little bit like there are some contrasts to make it seem like it's not a conservative country, but it's a conservative country. And typically in families, girls, like with they date a guy, like you have to meet the family and it has to be serious, and it's like, when are we gonna get married? Well, who are we? Are we boyfriend and girlfriend? So girls like to sort of nail it down quite quickly or figure it out what they're doing with the guy quite quickly. Sometimes, not all the time. And so the girl was like, okay, well, we gotta meet my parents, we need to get married, and this has to be serious because I can't just sleep with you without a wedding ring, and blah 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 blah. So the guy feels like he's in love with this girl, and so he agrees to it, and they buy a house together, they buy a car together, they rent out the chapel or the temple, they get all the decorations, they plan the whole wedding step by step, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second, da 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 da. So the day of the wedding arrives, and this young man is so excited. He is going to marry his bride. He is so excited. He has a new house, he has a new country, and he shows up to the church, temple, whatever hall, and he's dressed up in his sniffy suit, and he tries to walk through the temple hall, temple, church doors or whatever, and he's blocked. He's stopped by two Thai men, and he asks them, where are you going? Who are you? Who do you know here? And he says, this is my wedding. I'm here to marry my bride. And they say, no, you're not. And he says, well, yeah, I am. I rented this church. I rented out this day. I think my bride is inside. And they're like, no, our sister is inside, and she's marrying somebody else. So she met this guy, and she had him buy a house. And because you cannot own property here right out, I think someone said you can do it if you're American, but this guy wasn't American, he was European. Cannot own property straight out. You can buy a condo, but not like actual house. You have to sign it under a Thai person's name, or at least that Thai person has to own over 50% of that property to make it legally theirs. So he bought this person a house basically because there was nothing he can do about it. He cannot get this house back, and it's pretty much under her name. He pretty much bought her house. He bought her and her new husband a house, and he paid for their wedding. So yes, he is taking legal action, but there has been no push, there's been no room, there's no evidence. She can easily just say that I don't know who he's talking about, this guy was obsessed with me, this is me and my husband's house, we bought this house, and c'est la vie. So that's one story. So the other story is this was actually one that was really drawn out. And this man, this older gentleman, met this nice young Thai girl, and they dated for a year or so, and they got married. But not they didn't only got married, they didn't even get married in Thailand, they got married in London. He flew her out, moved her to London, they got married, and they spent several years together as husband and wife. They did all the things a husband and wife should do. He worked, he provided everything for her, he gave her a weekly allowance, she took care of the house, blah blah blah. They never had kids. And one day this man was coming home and his wife was packing a suitcase, packing a bag, and he asked his wife, where are you going? And she says, I'm going home to my husband. We have enough money to buy a house now. And she left him. And that is the end of the story. So the whole time she never planned to stay with this gentleman. Who knows if she had true feelings for him or not, but she always planned to go back to her husband. The weekly allowance that he was giving his wife, she was saving up for a house and some other things for her and her husband to start a family with. So she was already previously married. So, and I don't know if he's taking legal action or not. So that's the end of that. So the thing is, it's like, I feel really, really bad for these guys. At the same time, I feel like some men should know what they're signing up for when they come into Thailand. And I'm not blaming the guys, but it's kind of like, to be honest, a lot of the men who come down here are older gentlemen, and they are dating or catering towards a much younger Thai girl who is way more attractive than them. And I'm not trying to be vain here, I'm just saying maybe back at home they wouldn't been able to get that caliber of girl, and that's the reason why they came out to Thailand. Like, men do like specifically come out to Thailand for this reason, to find Thai girlfriends, to find Thai wives, because they know they can't get that caliber of girl back from where they're from. So they have money, they know that because they're Caucasian and they're English or American or European, they have better chances of getting someone of a higher caliber in Thailand. And so part of me feels like, if you're an older gentleman and you know that you can't really get this where you're from, part of you has to know that this girl is latch onto you for a specific reason. And some men are aware of this. When I went to a shopping mall one time, I sat down and I started talking to this, and I'm not trying to be mean here, I'm just trying to lay out the facts, that he was very overweight, obese, and he was much older than his Thai wife. He actually told me before she came to the table that I have a very young Thai wife, and when she sat down, I swear, like, she looked underage. I don't think she was. I'm trying to think that this guy was not a creep, but she looked extremely young. Like, she wasn't even a thought in mind when he was 20, 30 years old, okay? And he said very frankly, I know that this is like a business deal. I marry her, that means I have to give her family money every month. I am pretty much their financial bank. If they need a car, I pay for it. If they need rent, I pay for it. If they need medical bills paid, I pay for it. This is the price I have to pay to be with this girl. Like, I know the deal. And so when guys come down here, and I said those two stories, but I've heard other stories, but I can't like confirm them because I didn't hear them directly. But like, you have to kind of know the deal. And I'm not saying that there aren't true loves matches that happen down here. I've seen it happen too. I've seen couples, Thai and foreigner, that really worked. And I've actually seen deals that were strictly business. A lot of foreigners come down here and they want to open a business, and they know they can't open a business straight out, so they will marry a Thai wife and they will make a deal. You get this much money, or you get half of it, or whatever, let's marry, but it's strictly a business deal. So people come down here and do this all the time. So when I hear these stories, I'm kind of like, didn't you know? So again, I'm not saying true love doesn't happen, because it does happen, but you have to look at the circumstances that you're in. If you're just standing there and some random really hot girl comes out of your way and she's like falling all over you, you might have to ask yourself a question like, what does this person really want? Because this happens a lot. This is a scam that happens quite often. I talked about the sex tourist industry in another video. Don't know if I uploaded it that as I'm making this video, but a lot of the men, and I talked about another video that I saw that talked about this, and it got a lot of dislikes, and a lot of the men who were disliking their videos commented and said, what are you talking about? So many of these girls are scammers. They like rip off men. They like take all your money. These girls would give you a boohoo sob story and then have like 5 different boyfriends sending them money every month. And that part of that story is true. There are a lot of girls out here that do this. And the thing is, I am not shaming them. I have no shame. There is no shame in their hustle. A lot of these girls come from very, very poor backgrounds, and they're doing this a lot of times to survive and to help their family survive. So I'm not shaming them. No hate in your game. I'm just saying, for the men, like, you have to kind of know the deal sometimes that you're coming into. Again, not saying that it's never love, but you have to be aware that sometimes this is what's happening. These girls are agreeing to a deal, and a lot of times it can be a very mutual beneficial deal. I talked about in another video that I almost had a benefactor or sugar daddy. There's a lot of benefactor deals that happen in LA where it's a mutual beneficial deal. Like, you get money and I get sex, or I get your company, or I get your companionship, and I pay for your bills. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but you have to kind of be aware of what you're going into before you go into it. I had another friend that almost got caught up, and this is something a lot of the girls do, and I'm not saying that it's not true, but this is something they do, is where they will date you for a few days and then they give you like their sob story of like, I'm so poor, my father and mother is sick, we lost our car or a cow or something, and I need money, and oh my god, what am I going to do? And a lot of times these guys will feel really sorry and they give the girls money, and that's sort of how the cycle begins. Again, I'm not hating on these girls, and I'm not hating on the guys who wants to get in these type of relationships. I'm just saying you have to be aware of it sometimes when you're going into the situation, what it might be. And so yeah, my friend, he dated this girl, and again, like, just like that, the first night she went into this whole story about how like she's poor, and she comes from a very poor village, and our family is very poor, and they're very sick, and she started crying, and she says, I have nowhere to go, and I have no food. And so he let her stay at his apartment. And every day it was sort of the same story, and he kept just feeling sorry for her over and over and over again. And you know, before he knew it, she had been there for a week, and he had given her money, he had fed her every day, and it sort of hit him after a while, like, wait a minute, what is happening here? And he politely asked this girl to go, and she broke down crying, like, please, I have nothing, please, you have to help me. And he did eventually just dismiss her. So I'm not saying her story isn't true. Her story can very much be true, but I'm saying they definitely use that to pull on the heartstrings, so to get people to sort of give them money. And it's, again, nothing wrong with that. And it's like, sometimes, you know, if families have a pretty daughter, they will kind of send them out there, find a Caucasian man, find a Farang, and get him to give you money. And again, I am not hating on these girls' game or their hustle at all. When you are in that state, you have to do what you have to do to make money, to feed your family, to feed your kids. So I'm not hating on them. I'm just saying, to the guys, you have to understand sometimes this is the deal you're going into, and just know that. And if you want to go into that deal, don't be ashamed of it. Go into that deal. There are men who come down here for that. Like I've said, I know a guy who came down here just to have a kid with a Thai girl. He wanted to have a child. He was old, he was divorced, he had no kids, and he was getting older, and he wanted to have children. So he came down to Thailand. He pretty much talked to this Thai girl. He made a deal with her: have my baby, raise my baby to a certain age, I will come down here a few times a year, and I will see you. I will send you more than enough money every month to take care of yourself, take care of the baby, and then some. And then at some point, I will move you guys down, or I'll bring the baby down with me, or I'll spend more time with the child as it gets older. I mean, I'm not agreeing to that, but I'm saying, like, he came down here specifically to make that deal, and it was a mutual beneficial deal. She agreed to it, he agreed to it, and there you have it. So just, you know, it's nothing wrong with getting into that situation, but like I said, I've heard stories of people getting ripped off, of people going to think they're going into a deal, like the business deal I mentioned earlier, where it's nothing romantic, it's nothing sexual. It's this, hey, I want to open a business, marry me so we can open a business together, you get money, I get money. And a lot of times the girl will say yes and then just take the business, and you get nothing. So you just have to be aware of what you're getting into. Again, not hating on their hustle, just saying that is a scam that some people have to be aware of. So that's it, guys. That is my little rant, or not my rant, but my little story time warning thingy. Yeah. Anyway, if you like this video, please like it. If you want to share this video, please share it. And if you want to comment in the comment section below, if you know any of these stories this happened, if you experienced this, if you experience love or lust in Thailand or any other country, please comment in the comment section below. If you want to continue to follow me on this crazy game called life, please subscribe. And thank you guys. It is hot as fuck for more love, life, and travel.